What is going on, everybody? Welcome to JDS Live. I'm your boy, Justin Soltados, and we are officially live probably every Thursday, but things have been changing. And your boy Jay just cut himself right before we went on this live, so I got to keep a lookout for this because this thing was dripping wet. So anyways, we're officially live every Thursday, like I said, and what we do is we focus in on body, mind, and spirit. We're always bringing encouragement and inspiration so we can strengthen that body, mind, and spirit. And I'm going to tell you, it's very, very important for us to keep that body, mind, and spirit strengthened, because I can tell you this from personal experience. If I really was not in the Word like I really believe that I would be done with. Okay. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about being derailed. This is probably going to be one of the most serious messages I've ever told. Part of me did not want to tell exactly what's been going on, but I really felt like the Lord kept on telling me over and over and over, Justin, this is important. So good to see everybody here in the house. And I want to start off before we really get into the message and let everybody know that I'm really sorry for not being able to reach back out to you guys. I think you'll understand when we go through this message, but I was going through one of the hardest times of my life. This was honestly the second hardest time of my entire life. Could have been first, to be honest. And there's a lot of things that some of you guys know. There's a lot of things you guys don't know, but I think it's my responsibility as a YouTube creator to let you guys in on what's been going on, especially since I just kind of left 4 months ago. It's been over 4 months of no action on YouTube. And before that, it was kind of like it was consistent, but I really wasn't grounded. So I'm glad to see everybody here. Good to see Miriam here in the house. Big shout out to Miriam, always showing me love and support. A lot of encouraging messages. My gracious, it's so hot in here. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to go turn on the AC because I'm going to be honest, it is hot. All right. I apologize about that. Normally don't do that, but your boy Jay is sweating already, and I really don't think it's from nerves. Good to see Michael here in the house. Good to see my mom. Good to see Demetria. Like I said, I'm sorry to everybody. I got so many great messages from a lot of you guys encouraging me during this time, and I didn't let anybody know what was going on. But today, I'm going to let you know what was going on, because there's nothing more frustrating than somebody being away and coming back and kind of giving you some sugarcoat nonsense story. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I was going through for the most part, minus a couple details. So let me get to my notes here real quick. Good to see everybody here. Continue to hit that share button. As you guys know, I'm not on Instagram, so I'm not able to do this. Hold on 1 second. I'm pulling up my notes. Sorry, guys. Little rough start, but we'll clip this. Man, we are definitely live, guys. It's going to be a powerful message. If you ever feel like you've been derailed in life, where you were on track, everything was going good, your relationships were going good, your business was going good, your personal situations were going good, family, etc. This is going to be a message for you, and I promise you, this can help you out big time if you stay put to the very end. And I apologize. I am trying to grab my little notes because I want to stay on track. Give me 1 second. Man, what is going on here? Hold on. Holy cow. The enemy trying to test me already. It's been a season. And here we go. Your boy Jay has got it. So once again, lastly, I'm going to say this before we get started. Thanks so much for all the prayers, encouragement. It really helped me out big time. And If you've ever been derailed in life, you know what I'm talking about, where everything's going good and then this happens and you are completely off track. That was exactly what happened to me. And the most frustrating part about it is I was on track for so long, okay? Because I was off track with my whole health journey that I went through back in 2010. I went through it for like a very long time, over a decade. And I felt like I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I've already went through the hard times in my life. I'm not going to go through a hard season again. And boy, was I wrong. Man, part of me just wants to go off script completely, but I don't want to forget a lot of this. But Job in the Bible was derailed, and I kind of felt like it was kind of a similar Job situation, and you'll understand why here in a second. And I really believe that the reason why I do these, lives is to basically tell people about my pain so he can get the gain. Because when I got out of my health challenge X amount of years ago, I told God I was going to give him my all, and I was going to encourage people, and I was going to inspire people. And part of me just did not want to come back, okay? Part of me was like, I was telling my mom that I was starting to get comfortable with just like trying to get my life back on track. But I just know what I promised to God to get over the previous season. I said, God, if you get me out of this, I'm telling you, when I get back on track, I'm going to give you my all. And I sure enough did. But there were certain things that led me to being derailed. And I'm going to be very vulnerable tonight. I'm going to tell you some stuff that you don't know about what's been going on in my life. And some of you might know because I talked to some of you guys. As you guys know, you guys can comment real quick. I'm going to show you real quick. Mirman says, I got your back, Justin. You have mine. Amen. I really do have your guys' back. That's why I show up here. I spend the time to put into these things. I mean, even my little intro, shout out to Cassandra. She said, nice intro. Spent a lot of time to get that together. And there's a lot of more things that I'm going to do, but I really got to pace myself because my whole life has changed radically, okay? You may say, hey, listen, you look like you're the same spot. I'm in a different location, different city, kind of similar kitchen. It's almost like every kitchen I go to looks like the same, but a lot of things have changed. And I really want, my hope for this message is that you get encouraged and inspired to know that if you ever get off track or you ever get derailed, that you can get back on track. Because I know this is going to sound pretty pathetic, but I felt like I really wanted to give up, okay? And I'm a pretty tough guy, and I don't say this like pridefully. I say this sometimes, but I kind of almost mean it. I feel like I'm the strongest person that I know because other people that I know, when they tell me about this and this and this and this, I kind of see them falling apart. And when you hear what I went through tonight, I really believe from the bottom of my heart, it would have took out almost anybody. Now, it's not my strength. I believe it's the strength that I get through Christ that gets me through these things. But what I'm trying to say is I'm pretty one tough cookie from all the other stuff that I've been through. So I believe this story is going to encourage you. So long introduction. Continue to hit that share button, guys, because I really want to get a few more people on here on JDS Live. So I'm going to talk about tonight, just so you know, basically the transition of what happened, and then, what happened to me personally and why I was falling apart, what I learned. And I'm going to give you 3 quick points that got me back on track, because now, thank God, by the grace of God, I'm back on track, and I'm going to stay on track because there was things that I did that you might do that can cause your life that may be smooth sailing to get derailed. Now, if you're smooth sailing right now, you really need to hear this message. And if you're derailed, you need to hear this message to get back on track. There's nothing harder in the entire world than to get a derailed train back on track. So you want to stay on track, because when you really fall off, it can really be tough to get back on. Now, some people get here on these YouTube channels, they go away for a couple months and they come back. They're like, oh, I was struggling with sin. I fell into lust, or I was drinking. I didn't do any of that, okay? I was 100% giving it my all still, but I fell away from certain things that were kind of like my staples to keep me on track. So thankfully, by the grace of God, I didn't get washed up or covered in sin and start going back to my old ways like I have before in the past plenty of times, unfortunately. So that's not what this story is about. So basically, Oh man, this is going to be a long one. Not a long one. This is going to be one that you can learn a lot from. Okay, I'm telling you, somebody encouraged me when they saw me kind of like having the black cloud following me. We felt like to write down everything that I was learning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you little snippets of like what I was learning throughout the time and what God was showing me. And then with JDS Live going forward, we're going to start dissecting these and see exactly how God continues to keep on working in my life. And I believe that he'll work in your life the same way, because a lot of these things are the ABCs of Christianity. But the bottom line is a lot of people are not following the ABCs. And as I always say, we should be thriving here as Christians. So the truth of the matter is most people today, somebody told me this before I went live a couple days ago. Thank you, Cassandra. All right, I got to pull this comment. I'm sorry. You look good, Jay. I appreciate that. I'll take that one. Now, your boy Jay's been really putting in that work the last couple, probably month. I've been trying to dial it in, gained a few pounds, got bigger, started putting on some muscle. But man, I wish I wasn't sweating so bad. But anyways, so most people, you, I hope not, might be here just to hear about how I fell off track, how I was derailed, how things went bad, because most people today gravitate to drama and negativity. But here on JDS Live, we focus in on being encouraged and inspired. And even though sometimes it looks like we lose, we never lose. We always learn or we win. And this is a season where I had to learn a lot of hard lessons. And I want to tell you, it was not easy. I'm not trying to sound like a crybaby or a victim, but you'll know what I'm talking about here in a minute when I go through this. So I basically made some wrong decisions, okay? And they were some having to do with finances, some having to do with work, some having to do with my health, some having to do with where I was going to go. I had this transition season where I was excited. I kept on telling you guys, man, this happened, and boom, we're going to the next level, bigger and better with God, right? But I didn't do what I always do. I wasn't diligent. I wasn't planning. I was praying, and I was getting caught up in the excitement. And then what I started to do is I started asking a lot of people, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? I was asking every single person that I knew that was in my circle, which I don't have a big circle, but I was starting to confuse myself. Everybody gave me good advice and good wisdom for the most part, but some of the things were going against what the Holy Spirit told me. And I started, sorry, I got to push this Band-Aid on. I started to lose focus on the vision, and I started to lose focus on what God had for me and what he was showing me. And it caused me, honestly, to be where I'm at today. And I'm thankful. It could be a lot worse, but I wouldn't say that where I'm at right now is the ideal position. And I'm going to tell you, like, even towards the end of the story of how real it got, there's things that even my close friends like Corey don't know. My close friends like Cassandra don't know. There's people that don't know everything. So towards the tail end of this thing, right before we get to the 3 quick points, I'm going to tell you what I was going through. Continue to hit those comments, guys. Good to see Carnetta here in the house. Let's see. God got you, Justin, and you are in our prayers. Thank you so much, Carnetta. I greatly appreciate it. And it's always good to see you here on JDS Live. I got a couple slides here going towards the end. So basically, this is how we have to understand. The transition was to go to the next step of the vision that God gave me, and I got derailed, okay? I listened to everybody else but what the Lord was showing me, and it cost me big time, okay? When I say it cost me big time, I'm talking about big time. I didn't plan. I stopped my routine. I was getting out of whack. Like, I got into this step challenge where I was doing like 30, 40,000 steps a day, wasting my whole entire day, sometimes 50,000 steps. I was just a hot mess. I didn't have anything in balance. I wasn't listening to the word like I should have. I wasn't reading the Bible like I should have. I wasn't praying like I should have. I was just focusing in on how to get out of this mess. I pray to God it doesn't start bleeding. If it does, somebody please let me know, because this thing was running like a river. So here we go. I'm going to tell you right now what has happened. And this is embarrassing, but this is the truth, okay? And if Chad's on here, Chad, please let me know in the comments below, because you probably want to hear this one too. And I apologize for never telling you this. And I can't really tell you the whole thing behind Chad, but The fact of the matter is this is the first time I'm going to say this, and this is the only time I'm going to say this, okay? Because I don't want this to become a part of what I'm doing here on live. But I went through a divorce, okay? And some of you guys are probably like, no duh, we haven't seen your wife. And this has nothing to do with me being derailed, because after that happened, and I won't get into like why that happened, okay? But I will just tell you this. Your boy Jay was faithful. Your boy Jay was focusing on the Lord. And your boy Jay was definitely, I believe, ready for marriage. But that's all I'm going to say. We're going to leave it at that. There's certain things you can control, and there's certain things that you can't control. And that was one that I just could not control. So I went through divorce, sold my place. I was getting ready to transition into the next steps, like I said. So here we go. Then I'm going to try to go through this as quick as possible. But if the Lord tells me to say something or meditate on something a little bit longer, I'll tell you. But I moved into a situation, okay? Not going to name drop. I'm not going to say anything as far as names goes, but I moved into a situation with somebody, not like another woman, like, as far as that kind of stuff romantically. But I went into an environment that was not good for me, okay? I've been in that environment before. It was very toxic before. So here's a real quick sub note you can learn. Don't go backwards to something that didn't work before, okay? Please understand that. Yeah, I'm sure you figured that. I'm sure most people did figure that out, unfortunately. But that's not a part of my ministry, and we're not going to talk about that too much. But basically, I moved into a situation, and it lasted for like a month and a half. So I'm gung-ho about this transition, this move, this excitement, big vision that God's given me, the new studio and all this kind of stuff that I had everything right. God blessed me financially. Everything was going good. And then all of a sudden, I listened to the wrong voice, even got some wise counsel. Some wise counsel told me what to do, what not to do. And I stepped into my vomit. And it took my stress level from here to 1,000,000. And I started to experience symptoms, and my health was starting to go like this, okay? And there's nothing scarier in the entire world when you've been through hell before with your health to start seeing things go like this. And I was trying to keep it on the low. I was trying to keep composed. I was trying not to tell anybody. I was trying to keep quiet. And I told some people, I started to whine and complain and this and that. And was not the JDS Live, the JDS Fit, the guy that's at the gym, the guy that's always staying strong. It was just starting to really, it was my own fault. I can't blame anybody but myself. God told me what to do. I got wise counsel, and this toxic environment started, bringing me in the wrong directions. And then from there, I moved into a new place, okay? I signed something, got into a new place, and come to find out this place had mold. And I figured a loophole on how to get out of it. So I get out of this place. I was all excited. It was big. It was this. It was where I want to be, the location. And I get out of this place, and I go into another place. And then you guys saw me at the last place. I found the last place. It was big and this and that. And it was great. And there were some issues with that too. And I figured out a way to get out of that. I had to pay to get out of that. A lot of money. Okay. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. And I got out of that situation, and I decided, okay, you know what? I'm just going to hotel hop it until I find something new, which was probably one of the stupidest things that I could ever think of, because when you're hotel hopping, you're burning about 100 plus a day just on the room, and then food, and not being able to work the right way, and all these expenses that you don't see. And then before you know it, my stress is going up. My symptoms are going up. I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm going from this hotel. I'm price lining 3 nights here, 4 nights here, 2 nights here, 5 nights here. It was horrible. It was one of the worst things. Again, I don't ever want to see a Marriott. And once again, please don't take this the wrong way. You might be in another country. You're like, oh, this spoiled little brat, this little titled little punk. You just don't understand where I was and how grounded I was, and how this just started shaking me up huge on multiple different levels. So from there, my business started to suffer, and then I had to let people go. I wasn't able to focus in on my business. And then I started, trying to work throughout the hotel process, and I wasn't feeling good. I was starting to feel sick in these hotels. Not starting to, I was sick. And found another place to move into. I thought I was going to move into it, and something happened to where somebody else ended up getting it. and hotels got so expensive. This is so embarrassing to say. Oh my God, am I going to say this? All right. There was 2 nights that I decided, I'm like, you know what? I got to start saving money because I was blowing through tons of money that I slept in my car for 2 nights, which once again, never thought I'd say that on live, but I want you guys to know how much I was derailed and how much I wasn't thinking right. I slept in my car for actually 2 or 3 nights. And then from there, I end up going to another hotel. And I'm out. I'm like, okay, I need to clear my head. I need to take a walk. I need to go take a walk at a park. And by the way, when I was hotel hopping, I was going from different cities, okay? Because if they had specials in different cities, this is how messed up I was. I went from this city to this city to this city, and I'm just spending all kinds of money. I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm stressed to the hilt, because my business is starting to go like this. And all this stuff I've been working for, the ministry's falling apart. I'm not able to do lives. I got everything of all my stuff inside a warehouse. And I know, me and Coach Corey had to talk about this. He's like, man, you don't have to give him the whole entire ball of wax. This is not going to be the whole entire ball of wax. There's a lot more to the story. But in order for you to understand what derail looks like, it takes a lot for me to be derailed. So I get to a hotel. I come into where I live or used to live for one night, and I decide to take a walk at the park. I think some of you guys have already heard the story. I walk at the park, and then I'm getting ready to leave the park. I just got done with a nice time with the Lord, praying, fasting, and I step on this huge red snake and it bites me. I get, put in an ambulance. And then from there, I went to another hotel. I was just so messed up. And then I ended up going down south to stay with my family for a little bit. And from there, it wasn't good. It was a hard, tough situation. Not going to get into that. Something that God once again showed me was not the best idea, but I was trying to save a few bucks. And I go to the park. I'm feeling like a mess. I'm praying, Lord, what do you want me to do? And this is one of the hardest parts of my whole entire story. I end up going to the park, and I'll never forget this. And I'm walking around, and I'm like, okay, this is out of whack. This is out of whack. I need to get back to the basics. And right now my life's a mess. And I was just about to get to my car to leave. And a swarm of bees, of about 30 or 40 bees, start attacking me. Okay. And it sounds kind of funny and it doesn't sound serious, but it was pretty crazy because these bees were relentless. I had to run. I was trying to swat them off as hard as I could. I don't know if it was because I was sweating or whatever, but they would not let me go. They almost got me to the point to where like I was screaming. I got stung by multiple bees. And then from there, I'm down south. I'm miserable as can be. I'm trying to keep my head up. I'm trying to get inside the Word of God. And a couple days later goes by. It's already a miserable situation. I won't tell you why, but I'm in a situation I don't want to be in. God bless my mom, by the way. My mom's the best mom in the entire world. I love you with all my heart. If it wasn't for my mom, I don't know where. God first, but my mom second. She was there to kind of just be there for me throughout this hard time. I go to the park. I'm taking a walk, and somebody pulls out a gun, okay, and starts walking straight towards me for no reason and points it at me. And I'm like, okay, this has got to be, I got to be under spiritual attack on a whole nother level. They're coming at me. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of frozen. They're smaller than me, but they're about 20 feet away. They're coming at me with a gun, scared out of my shabibis. And it was one of those times where like you feel like you should say, I rebuke you, Satan, and all this kind of stuff. Like it was one of those moments. My faith was completely weak at this point. I get in my car. I end up leaving from there. And I stay in a situation, not going to get into details. It was very uncomfortable. I feel like it was very unfair. I wasn't at my best. I started to lash out with hurts and pains that I had from all the stuff I was going through. And I won't even go into that, maybe in a different lesson, in a different point, but I'm going to skip past that. So from there, I end up going to buy a house, okay? I decide to go to buy a house, okay? And I'm excited about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is it. This is what I'm talking about. It's the vision, blah, blah, blah. But I was trying to make myself feel like it was the vision, but I knew deep down inside, deep down inside, this was not the house for me, because the other one I had before, I felt like it was way better, and I knew God had bigger and better for me. So I put a contract on the house. I get ready to go into this house. We wait to close. I'm starting to get locked in with the Lord. And this is when I did that whole walking competition thing, doing 30, 40,000 steps a day. If you saw me on the walking application, your boy Jay was just completely going out of control. I mean, I was walking 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day. It was ridiculous. But I ended up winning one of them. But the other two, I placed like in the top 4. But besides the point, I end up going to, where was I going on the story? Oh my Lord, so many things. Where was I at? Oh my gracious. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that right there too. I apologize. Symptoms came out strong. From there, where was I at? At the park, I was getting ready to buy a house, and I was getting ready to close on the property. And what happened is the day before closing, we had this massive rainstorm. Okay. Everything was set, ready to close, ready to move in, all excited. And the storm itself, I felt like it affected the house. I felt like it affected the property. I started to see settling cracks inside the place. And long story short, once again, this cost me a lot of money. I got out of the situation, didn't end up buying the house. So now I'm a train wreck at this point. At this point right now, I'm literally falling apart, and I end up going to a hotel. There's some good news coming here in a second, by the way. I know it sounds pretty bad, but I go to another hotel, and I go to Orlando. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm homeless again in a sense. I got to go back to hotel hopping. What am I going to do? There was no end in sight because I couldn't find any place. Everything was super expensive on where I was trying to be. And I go to another location, and basically my car breaks down. And you're like, okay, big whoop, your car breaks down, go get it fixed. Well, I went to go get it fixed and went to go there. They put the new part in it. It wouldn't work. Went later that day, put a new part in it. It didn't work. The next day, had to go back, to get my car. I'm completely stressed out. It wouldn't work. Then I had to go to another mechanic. They couldn't find the right part. Couldn't work. So now we're 4 days into this, and now I'm hotel hopping. My cars are breaking down all over the place. Nobody can figure out why. I'm going to different places just to find the part. I'm spending, once again, all kinds of money. And unfortunately, from there, I ended up going to another hotel. Oh my Lord, I cannot believe this. Just bringing back the memories of this. I mean, literally, talking about traumatic. I mean, you guys are just hearing a very glimpse, some sub points of what happened, but it was a lot deeper than this. Go to another hotel, stay there for a couple of weeks, and finally I find the place that I'm in now. Actually, I found another place. And long story short, God told me, he really showed me that this was the place for me. Everything worked, and I got into this place. I get into this place, and then I start having this remorse and regret, and oh my goodness, my life is a wreck. Oh my God, I used to have it so good. I used to have my routine and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So now I'm in this sadness and this funk of man, I had everything going good for me. And now I'm in this beautiful place, brand spanking new. And I'm just not happy because it's not where I desire to be. Now listen here, it's not where I desire to be, right? So I decided to go for a walk. We have this beautiful walking track right outside here, not too far from the beach. And I take a walk, and I kid you not, once again, I'm taking a walk, and I'm actually halfway down my walk. I'm kind of complaining to God, Lord, you don't understand. I'm serving you. I'm doing this. I'm being obedient. I'm not sinning. I'm not lusting. I'm sacrificing. I'm tithing when I don't have it. I don't know why this is happening. Blah, 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 blah. This woe is me, crybaby attitude. And I get attacked by another swarm of bees. And keep in mind, I've lived in Florida my whole entire life, never got attacked by bees. I start walking, and these things start coming after me. This lady saw the whole entire situation. I'm trying to get them off me. SWAT. They're not getting off me. And what happened is I got stung. Okay. Now this is kind of, I believe, a God thing. And you're like, why in the world would being stung by bees be a God thing? Okay. This is almost like a start of the turning point of when things started to get better, right? I got stung all over my neck and it blew up like this. Okay. But I learned, like, man, why would bees be relentlessly chasing me? Like, I'm a fast dude. I was running and they were still getting me. And now I have this swollen thing on my neck. It's 10 times worse than the time before. And it was hard. And I'm like, oh my goodness, did something happen? Should I go to the hospital? Blah, 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 blah. And as I'm in this situation, I come to find out that when you get stung by a bee, there can be some health benefits to it too. So just a little bit, I can tell you this. I was experiencing all kinds of symptoms, even some of the worst symptoms I've ever experienced in my entire life. And for whatever reason, as these bees were relentlessly chasing me, they were going to do whatever it took to get me, right? And when they got me, I was like, God, I can't believe this, blah, 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 blah. And I started to feel a little bit better. Not that much better, but I almost thought like, man, is this a God thing? And I've skipped through a lot of things. I'm not even going to go through all this for the sake of time. But I basically felt like giving up, okay? I literally felt like giving up so many times throughout this process. And keep in mind, I said this before, I feel like I'm one strong dude, okay? Because like I said, I'll hear somebody that got a problem with their family or they got a problem with one thing. I had a ton of things going on all at once, and my whole entire world was completely derailed, right? But I wouldn't say I was focused in on the Lord big time, but I didn't lose faith. I lost faith, but I didn't lose faith in who was going to be my healer, who was going to be my provider, who was going to get me out of the situation. But my faith itself was wavering, but my faith in him wasn't wavering, which we'll talk about that in another message. So after all this, I get in here, I'm trying to get myself grounded. I get into some business relationships, which we're not going to get into this. And like I said, I never name drop, but I feel like I got screwed hard, big time again. Throughout this whole entire process, I'm working through sickness. I'm working through pain. I'm spending money. I'm doing my best. And now I'm working throughout the hotels too. But I get screwed by somebody in business big time, which we're not going to get into that. But the bottom line is looking back, this all started because I listened to the wrong things, okay? I listened to things that God was not telling me to do, and I decided to take the easier, temporary way, and it got me in a jam. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm looking at the list. There's about 60 more things. I'm not even kidding when I tell you this. I'm talking about a lot more things that we could be going over, but I'm not going to do it for the sake of time. But it was so bad in so many different ways. And my mom decided to come up here and take a trip, and I'm trying to get myself together. And now I don't know what to do. I get out of this crazy business relationship and I'm like, what am I going to do? I've always been gifted in business. Now I don't know what to do. I'm burning through all kinds of money. I'm not in the situation I want to be in. I'm not in the location I want to be in. I'm feeling like my symptoms are back. I'm feeling like crap. I'm trying to do my best. I'm still trying to like somewhat have a routine. And I'll never forget it. This was honestly the changing point of my whole entire situation. Okay. I was basically talking with my mom. My mom came up here to visit, and like a little baby, like we went out to eat a couple times, had a good time. And then we went to one place and I'm like, I just can't do it. I'm not feeling well. I'm not right. You don't understand what I'm feeling, blah, 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 blah. And I started explaining to her more in detail. And I decide, this is pathetic, but somebody needs to hear this. I decide to go sit in a corner, okay? Now, I'm not a boy, okay? I'm a grown man, okay? And I go decide to sit in a corner and I face the wall. And my mom doesn't know how much this meant to me, but I'm going to give her the ultimate credit. Throughout this whole entire process, I got tons of great counsel, tons of great advice, and I blame myself completely. I don't blame anybody. I'm the blame for this, okay? The reason why my life got derailed wasn't because of God. It wasn't because, whatever, which I will tell you this is not any, dig at anybody. But I feel like sometimes when you're going through a hard time, okay, people like to play Job's friends in the Bible. I'm not saying anybody you are thinking about, but sometimes people feel like they want to tell you how you should be doing it. But if they were in your situation, I truly believe this with all my heart, they wouldn't be able to handle it 100%. Okay. And if you ever know somebody's going through a situation, it's not time to be Job's friends and try to tell them how they're not doing this right and this right and this right. But the bottom line is I was sitting inside my bedroom. I was sitting in the corner. And It's just pathetic, but I literally get out of bed, talk to my mom. I sit down like a baby in the corner, and I'm like, I'm looking at God. I'm like, God, I'm just shaking my head like, Lord, I don't know what to do, man. This is not where I desire to be. This is not how I should be feeling. I don't know why my life is a train wreck. I don't know why all this crap happened to me all of a sudden, blah, 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 blah. And my mom said to me, Justin, well, what are you going to do? I know it sounds so simple, but it's like when somebody comes to you in that situation after all the hell you've been through and you felt like giving up, and it's almost like that. She wasn't trying to be tough, but it was tough love. Like, what are you going to do? And it was like a flashback of like how many lives we've had. And I always say to you guys, God has done his part. He has finished the work. There's something we have to do about it, right? To activate this whole entire situation and turn around. And that was, I'm trying to hold back tears, I swear to you right now, because this was the changing part of the whole entire nightmare of a situation. What are you going to do? And then she started just throwing things out there. She goes, maybe you should start listening to some of your own lives. I was like, man, that's tough right there. Like, maybe you should start listening to what you're teaching, right? For so long, I was walking it and talking it. And one wrong decision led to this, 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 just by listening to the wrong voice, trying to take the easy road. I was looking for the easy road, but I knew it was not where I needed to be. And she goes, well, what about you getting back into listening to the Bible, grounding, sunshine, just doing your routine? She's like, I know you don't want to be where you're at right now because honestly, I'm not in my special spot. I'm not where I used to be. And I honestly, I'm trusting the process, which you're going to hear in a second. But by my mom saying that, and please listen here, there might be one single thing in this message that helps you to get derailed back on track. And she's like, what are you going to do about it? Because after all the moaning, complaining, suffering, trials, hurt, just complete. I mean, I thought honestly, there was times I'm like, what's the point? I was like, forget the ministry, forget the business, forget the houses, and this is going to sound pathetic. I'll just go live wherever, right? And I'll just get by and make some kind of job and get myself better and be kind of selfish and stay to myself, blah, 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 blah. But in the last couple weeks, it hasn't been a long time, God has completely shifted things around, okay? And I was talking to this guy yesterday, which I'm probably going to send him the video after this guy, Mike Jones. He ended up praying for me yesterday. Amazing man. He laid hands on me and he said, Justin, I know you're going through stuff, but I'm going to agree and touch right now and believe that whatever you're going through, it's all changing. And I knew 100% without a shadow of a doubt it was a God thing, because I can't tell you the whole conversation, but he was speaking to my life exactly what I was going through. And I just met this man and his wife. So I don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know if you've ever felt like you're derailed, or somebody that's derailed, or like this might even be if you ever feel like you get derailed in the future or you are derailed. This is a couple keys that I really believe that will help you out. My gracious, I took way too many notes. There's so many more things that we didn't even go over tonight, but don't worry about it. We'll get through it in the next couple lives. But the very first thing, if you're going through a hard time in your life, you must cast your cares on the Lord, okay? You must cast your cares on the Lord. And I don't know why this slide looks like this. Hold on one second. What the heck? Let me see. What in the world? All right, I'm not going to use those slides tonight. I'm going to go back to that. I don't know what happened. I guess I ended up deleting it, but I made it all pretty for us. But the very first thing you need to do, and this is going to be basic to a lot of Christians, but if you're ever going through a hard time and you ever get derailed, this is my encouragement to you. Cast your cares on the Lord, for he cares. When it's too much to bear, too much anxiety, too many problems, too many bills, health stacked to the, hurt, doctor's reports, family screws you, whatever the case is, business relationship goes down the drain, you lose your job, whatever it is, fill in the blank. I know it sounds simplistic, but my encouragement, like I used to say before in the past, is you got to cast your cares on the Lord, for he cares. 1 Peter 5:7. I had to learn to give it to him and trust him. Or let me not get ahead of myself. Just give it to him because it was too much for me to bear. There was all these different things that I was getting hindered with and entangled with. And in Hebrews 12:1 says, let us throw off everything that hinders us in the sin that easily entangles us. I think that I had to just let go of everything that was trying to weigh me down. So if you're going through a hard time and you're derailed and you've been through a hell of a season, please, my encouragement to you is to cast your cares on the Lord. Because as soon as I was in that corner with my mom, the very next day I got up, I said, okay, Lord, I said, I've tried to give it to you so many times before. I've tried to cast it to you, so many times before. I was a quarterback. I'm throwing it to you now. I'm giving it to you. I don't know where this is going. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I felt this way. I don't know why my body's falling apart. I swear to you, I'm like, I don't know why any of this stuff. I know I'm taking the blame, but I don't understand why this is a part of the plan is what I'm trying to say. I casted it to him. Point number 2, I'm going to go through this quick, is you have to learn to trust the Lord. Everybody says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. But do you really trust him? If things are going good, I know some people right now that are coming to my mind, their life is all together. They're smooth sailing it. It's so easy to trust God when things are smooth sailing. But when you're going through a hard time, a hard season, you may think like that's the easiest time to trust him, but it honestly can be the hardest time. This was honestly the biggest learning thing for me, is learning to trust him on a deeper level. Now, keep in mind, I've already been through a lot of hell before in the past. I went through a decade worth of health problems, losing it all, every penny, just losing my whole entire life, credit smashed, blah, 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 blah. And God restored all the years that the locust ate away. And one time I listened to the wrong voice, it just starts derailing, right? And it took me to a season of like, do you really trust me? Do you really, really, really trust me? So I'm after the corner with my mom sitting there. I wake up the next day. I'm like, okay, God, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how this is going to change. I don't like where I'm at, honestly. And I don't like how I'm physically feeling in certain ways. And I don't like this. I said, but you know what? I trust you. Okay. You said that if I delight in you, you will give me the desires of my heart. You told me that you have a good plan for my life, a future and a hope. I said, you know what, man, I trust you, Lord. And I just woke up that day, and ever since I haven't looked back. And I've been sitting just like basically at his feet saying, okay, Lord, whenever it gets hard, whenever it gets tough, whenever something comes up, a certain thought, a certain feeling, a certain symptom, a certain whatever, okay, Lord, I trust you. So the very first thing you must do is you must cast. And the next thing you must do is you must trust him, which brings me to the very last point. Okay. Let me actually back up for a second and give you this verse. Proverbs 6:9, we've talked about it before. The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Okay. Establish his steps means to make them concrete, to make them good, solid. So sometimes in life we can feel like we're like, doing the right thing. And there's a way that seems right to a man that ends up leading to destruction. And I know that where I'm at now is not where I want to be. But if this is where God has me, then I'm going to trust that it's going to get me to where he desires for me to be. And I'm going to continue to keep on running this race to win. And it's not one of these like little faith answers or spiritual problems. If you know the hell I've been through and what I've been going through, it's a miracle that God has given me the strength even to do this live. I was thanking him. The reason why we started a couple minutes late is I was thanking him, praising him. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I remember this, setting up the lights, doing the slides, doing this. And I'm definitely one thing that I learned before when I went through hell with my health. I was like, I am not going to stay out of the game before. And I told you this and I live by it. I told myself many years ago when I stayed away from the game, meaning like the game of life, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what the circumstances, I stayed out of the game for way too long. So this time I told myself what my dad said, get back in the game. So I decided to get back into purpose, get back into mission, get back into where the Lord planted me. And the funny thing is I really felt like God said to me when I was thinking about going live about a month ago or even 2 months ago, little by little, I was patient with it. I told some people that I care about, hey, listen, I'm thinking about going live. Be patient, be patient, be patient. And I felt like the Lord said, okay, you got this together. You got this together. Now it's time for this. And I know that there's certain people that may look at me like, oh, how in the heck can you tell us what to do? You just went through a crap show. Now, this is my response to that. And this is from the bottom of my heart. There's so many people out there that have never been there and never done that and want to tell you what you should be doing. I'm going to tell you right now, if you listen to my testimony from my first part of my testimony and the second part of my testimony and everything I've been going through, I don't know anybody that's experienced what the heck I've been through, down to the point where I was going to die twice. And, you know, I'm 220 pounds strong, got down to 115 pounds, little stick, almost died with Lyme disease and so many co-infections and so many other diseases. But my point is that if you are if you're derailed, get back in the game of life. Don't wait. Get back in there as soon as God gives you the green light. Somebody wanted me to wait a little bit even longer to get on here, but God gave me the green light. I'm like, listen, I listened to others before. This time I got to listen to what the Lord is telling me to do, and he will establish my steps in due time, and he will give me the desires of my heart. And I'm learning a lot of things. He's showing me a lot of things, and I feel super blessed to be here with you guys tonight. And you're like, oh, you're being a little dramatic. No, I'm not being dramatic. And when I tell you, I'm talking about, like, as I'm going through this, it was 1 symptom, 2 symptom, 3 symptom, 5 symptom, 10 symptom. And all of a sudden I'm freaking out, and we're not even gonna go over that. But the point is it's by the grace of God that I am here. Very last point. First thing I do is you got to cast. Second thing you need to do is trust. And the last thing you need to do is you need to act. Faith without works is dead. Okay. This is one scripture I want us to talk about real quick. And please listen to this. I know everybody's like, oh, I just want to get out of here. I saw Justin's back. I saw he's okay. I've already heard the story. I've already heard all the problems. I heard the drama, the crap. Hear this. This is the most important thing, right? The word of God. Hebrews 12:2. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. Okay. Perseverance is a continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition. So the Lord wants you to run this race to win and continue to keep on doing it no matter what's coming at you. If God gives you a mission, or he gives you a purpose, or he gives you, you know, some kind of like something in your heart to where you know you should be doing it, it is your responsibility, I believe, to continue to keep on showing up, to continue to keep on encouraging. That guy, Mike, and his wife yesterday encouraged the living jabibis out of me. It was the most amazing thing. He's like, man, I just met a lifetime friend. We ended up chopping it up, this and the other. But the point is we have to run this race with continued effort despite difficulties and challenges. So what I did is here we go. In short, I had to repent. Okay. I repented after I was sitting in the corner, moping. Oh my God. I was like, okay, my life was a wreck. Did I start bleeding again? No, I'm good. All right. So thank God for that. But I repented. I listened to what my mother said. What are you going to do about it? I know that God's already finished the work. I've been learning so much more about scripture. I got back to listening to the word in the morning every day, just like I did before. I started doing my 10,000 plus steps. I started getting my sunshine. I started grounding. And I really don't believe you need any of that stuff in order to get better. But for me, that's what God showed me with my journey and my life and where I'm at today that helps me stay grounded. So if God has shown you certain things in your path and your journey, and you've kind of steered away from them, it's time for you to get back to the basics, right? Reading the Bible, listening to the word, getting that walk in, eating right, saying no to that Coke, whatever the case is, because those things may not seem important, but they start building a bigger, stronger person, a bigger, stronger Cassandra, a bigger, stronger, not bigger like, you know what I mean? Bigger like that, but I'm a stronger Merriman, a stronger Karen, a stronger Bonnie, a stronger Chad. The bottom line is when you do these things, go back to your basics if you are derailed. So I had to repent, go back to the basics of what I was doing. I started working out, getting things in order, eliminating things that were unnecessary. I started decluttering again. As you guys know, man, I'm the most decluttered person you've ever met in your entire life. My laundry's decluttered. My closet's decluttered. My house is decluttered. My dishes are decluttered. If you saw my garage right now, you would think I was a freak because everything is so organized. I'm like Danny Tanner. But structure and even budget. I started budgeting. I haven't budgeted in God knows how long, and all these different things. And I started taking a step in a different direction. And I'm starting to get blessed in different ways. And I really believe that God is leading me to something that I have no idea. And I don't know why this has happened. I wish that God didn't have to be the guinea pig and go through this. But I will tell you this. I overcame it. I persevered. I'm going to continue to keep on persevering. I'm thankful for your guys' patience. I can't tell you how many times I was getting text messages. Hey, man, I'm checking on you. I was thinking about you. I was praying about you. Are you okay? What's going on? And I was like, I just can't text them. I'm like, you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. So I got clarity of one thing right now. Clarity is to keep fixed in on the Lord, keep fixed in on Jesus. And that's going to help me stay, on track with him. So I know I gave you guys a little bit more than my mentor would want me to. He would probably want to punch me in the face right now, but I didn't give you everything. There's a lot more things I could have gave you. The last 8 months of my life was a complete living hell. And here's my little thing I want to say to people out there, because there's certain people that want to see me fall. Like I've said before, I've actually had somebody tell me before that they're praying against me. Okay. I had a lady, I'm praying against you, And what I did before I got on these lives and before I came back was like, Lord, if there's any prayers that are trying to come against me, and, anybody trying to put any kind of like spirit, evil spirit on me or cast any spell, I bind it up and I throw it down in the pit of hell where it belongs. And I know that vengeance is yours, saith the Lord. And I know that I'm going to continue to stay locked in on you. And the one thing you don't ever do is you don't mess with a king's kid, right? And it would be one thing if I fell off, like I said, and I was getting back into this and this and this and this. And you know what? I would kind of expect all this, but that was not the case. So if anybody's out there praying against me, just remember that God is my daddy. And I used to be scared because people were trying to put stuff in my head of like, oh man, watch out for this, watch out for this. I'm not scared. I'm not. I trust God. I cast all my problems on him, my cares, and I am going to act and continue to keep on pressing forward and persevering with everything I have. And I'm only getting stronger. I'm only getting better. I'm starting to look at myself in the mirror again and be like, oh my God, here we go. We're coming together. Muscles are growing. Fridge is full, starting to get the money come back in from different directions. And that's not why I'm here. Like, oh man, well, things are good. Now you're going to come back. I was ready to come back even when I was not right. Even when I was getting stung by the bees, bit by the snake, gun pointed at me, and the list goes on and on and on, right? But I wasn't ready. So Chad says, no weapon formed against me. Let's see, against Michelle. Let's see, shall prosper, and any tongue that comes against me, condemnation will condemn. So I really appreciate Chad. I appreciate my mom. I appreciate everybody on here on JDS Live. I appreciate Demetria. If you're on here, Cassandra, Carnetta, Bonnie, just drop me a quick comment. Let me know you're here. Give me a little wave, but I'm back. We're staying on track, and I'm going to continue to keep on persevering. So if you are derailed and you are going through a tough time, if you need to listen to this message again, or somebody that is derailed, please share this message, because this is a testimony. I've overcome it. I'm back on track. I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. I'm believing it every day. I'm back on my whole routine thing. I needed a little word of encouragement, a tough word that really pushed me in the right direction. So I wanted to make it about an hour mark. Thanks so much for being a part of JDS Live. For encouragement and inspiration, stay subscribed to my channel. I will send you guys an invite with the next live. Be on the lookout for shorter videos. I'm going to start doing more shorter videos coming up. Actually, this time I'm going to be consistent with it. I know I've said it before, but I have a new schedule that I'm doing, and it's going to be a part of my schedule. Shorts coming on YouTube. And let me say one more thing, okay? Let me say one more thing, and please let me know in your comments below what you guys think about this, okay? Now, my main vision that God's laid upon my heart is to bring encouragement and inspiration to the globe. I've said that since day one, 6 years ago, right? And I jumped off something called Instagram, okay, because I think it's full of crap, toxicity, this and the other, but also it's full of a lot of broken people, lost people, hurting people. And I felt like Instagram was a way to kind of grab them, bring them here and encourage them and inspire them. And that's kind of like how I met most of you. So my question to you, please let me know in the comments below, is do you think that and I've already prayed about this, but I want to know, does it really matter to see, because I want to know from my main pack, does it matter to be on Instagram? Like, do you get better notifications, or are you more aware, or does it not matter as long as I send you a text message, you guys can show up? Because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you guys hear or don't hear unless you guys see it on YouTube. If that's enough, then that's great. But please let me know. Maybe you guys can DM me, or actually you can't DM me. That's what I mean. But anyways, I'll pray about that. I was just going to say, do you think it would be good for me to jump back on the gram so I can encourage more people to get them over here to YouTube? So have a great rest of your night. God bless you guys, and we'll see you for another JDS Live next Thursday at between 7:30 and 8:30. I'll let you know. But I appreciate every one of you guys. Thanks so much for the prayers, and God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your night.